Okay, this is Baby Snoopy Part 2. Um, the part I need to mention about this is that my mom was out of town. She was back in Georgia with her mother because her mother had just had surgery and she needed someone to come take care of her. And my mom and her were always very close. She was my grandma's number one biggest helper. She did everything that my grandma needed. Little mama from a very early age. 10 children. There were two sets of twins. My mom was running after all of these children to fend for their needs. And so my mom had gone to Georgia to take care of her mom after surgery for 2 weeks. That's when this physical attack happened. When my mom would call home, long distance, back then, on our landlines, um, my dad wouldn't let me get anywhere near the phone. He wouldn't let me talk to her because he knew I would fall apart and tell her what happened. So all of this was shielded from her for that entire um, time she was gone. And when she got back 2 weeks later, now mind you, I had had to um, where sometimes out there in Texas, my dad would say, just go put on your bathing suit, play clothes or whatever. That included a bathing suit. But during this time, I had to cover up those bruises, all the bruises. Like, I remember wearing a turtleneck. So she was gone for 2 weeks. And when she came back, it was a day after she got back. She was in the kitchen cooking dinner, busy with dinner, and I hadn't got to get near her at all. Like maybe a hug or a kiss, a very quick one, and then I was removed from off of her by my dad. He was very good at that. The day after she got back, she's in the kitchen cooking dinner. My dad comes through the front door with the burglar bars on it. He comes through the front door and he's got his dark navy military jacket zipped all the way to his neck. And he's playing a game, or he's playing a little role here. He's, oh, my tummy. Oh, my tummy hurts. Gina, come here and help me, my tummy. And he's pretending like he's staggering and can't walk. And so he comes and he sits down in one of the dining room table chairs, and he wants me to worry over him and fret over him, which I do. I'm 7. Help me, help me. And so I pull his zipper down when I get about halfway. Wouldn't you know it, there's a little apple-headed, black and white fox terrier puppy sitting right above his belly button in this navy jacket. And of course, everything that had happened while my mom was gone was immediately evaporated and transferred into this dog, or all of that had it evaporated, right? It was gone, and now I can concentrate on this beautiful little dog who I loved and cared for tremendously, and watched after and was high energy, and he loved me so much. And it turns out when I wasn't looking, my dad and my oldest sibling were actively abusing him. Um, Even when I was looking. My oldest sibling, I'll tell you that story in a minute, but so I pulled the puppy out, and immediately all of my affections and emotions blew up and were uh, cast onto this sweet little dog. Um, and all of that had just happened, that was never even brought up ever again. My mom most likely doesn't even know, never knew. Um, These things were happening every day. Every day. The story I want to tell you now is about hang on. Well, let's see. Let me find this one here. Okay, this one is called Okay, I'm going to say this one's called Snoopy Bee. See? Snoopy Bee. My dog's name was Snoopy, and he looked just like Snoopy from Peanuts. He was a fox terrier with like the white backing and the black spots, and he was quick and he was fast and he loved me, and he would jump the fence and follow me to school sometimes. And any attention I got from anybody or animals or any positive attention that came in my direction, my father resented. My oldest sibling really resented. No one came to my recitals, my music, band, volleyball, cheerleading. I was abandoned on all of that. I was on my own there. But the story I'd like to tell you right now is about my oldest sibling. This happened. This involves my oldest sibling, who's 5 years older than me, and had a real penchant for mistreating animals. This is an instance of that. Trigger warning for anyone who loves animals. Please, please, please don't listen to this part. Just stop right here. Backyard of my house in Texas, South Texas, San Antonio, just off base, and my oldest sibling is sitting with legs crossed, and my dog Snoopy sitting in the midst of his legs, confined and held there. This sibling calls me over. Gina, come here, come here, in a very coaxing, provocative way, because that's the only way to get me to come over, is because this sibling knows I'm completely physically petrified of him. He would often use temptations of candy and just whatever he would have to say to get me to come close to him. I was physically very, very afraid of him. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to, and he could see that. And upon looking, I saw that he had my dog, and I had no choice. Now I'm invested. And so I go and I squat down next to him. This is our backyard. It's broad daylight, probably a Saturday. We're all in shorts, and bare feet, and we're just hanging out, I think. And he's got my dog, and I'm not sure what's going on. And he goes, "Hey, watch this." And he reaches over, and do not ask me how he did this. I can't explain it. I can only tell you how it happened. He picked up a dying wasp that was in a little kiddie pool with a little bit of water in it. The thing was dying. And he reached over and he picked it up somehow by its wings. And I watched him, like in slow motion, take that little insect that was dying and get closer and closer and closer to my dog. And then right before he touched it to his ear, he smiled from ear to ear, stung my Snoopy on the ear, and immediate screams of misery and agony and pain and squealing from my dog, who started to try to rub it off, rub it, running, rub it. And I looked over at my brother, who was quite satisfied with himself for doing this to my animal, who I loved. He was not only torturing my dog, but he was torturing me in the process as well. And nothing made him happier than to hurt innocence. It didn't matter if it was boy or girl. It's as long as he perceived it as weaker. And he made a huge mistake with me because I was never weaker. Maybe smaller. For hours, my poor baby was in torment, which meant I was in torment. And this brother was just drinking it in. Yes, so good. Hours this went on. I couldn't console my dog. Nothing I could do. I don't remember where my parents were, but this same brother was known to do similar things to the strays in the area that were walking around. All of a sudden, they started disappearing. My mom got him a job at the same place she worked, where they worked with research animals. My brother had the responsibility of white mice. That's all I know. And I just remember him describing his job one day when he was about 17, coming home from work and describing what he did. And he was talking about how he would trigger warning. Can't go back. Please go back. Please stop right now. Trigger warning. He was taking a hammer and smashing them dead before that was how he chose. He didn't have to kill them like that, but that's how he decided to dispose of the animals. He would take firecrackers and do terrible things to cats. I found dead carcasses of canines in the gully behind our house when I was very young, with poles run through. And I'm not the only one who noticed this. That's all I can say. But he took great pleasure in hurting my poor Snoopy. And I felt so helpless. There was no one looking behind the wall that we had created to protect my father's image. These two alpha predators, sadistic, incestuous, psychopathic males, were hiding under what looked like a military facade of heroism or honor. Nothing could have been further from the truth. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. I was being preyed on every day. Every day. I was the favored target of both of them. So I didn't just have my father to deal with. All right, so that is the story of my Snoopy and the bee. And he recovered. My Snoopy recovered. And when we moved to, when my father retired from the service, we took him and the other dogs we had with us, and we moved them all together, and we gave him the best farm life we could. He lived for several years after that. So he was still with me and a very good dog, and in heaven, I believe. So I believe our animals are in heaven. That's just my own personal belief. And I thank you for listening. And I wish everybody well, and take care until next time.